Hey, how's it going? And today I'm going to be taking a look at the Montech AirX ARGB. Now, Montech is a brand I've really never heard of, and looking them up, they look like they're pretty new as they were established about 2016 and is looking to provide some pretty good value cases on the market nowadays. Now, first impressions of this case are pretty good. Comes packaged really well, and as far as for what you're getting for 70 bucks, you're getting quite a lot of stuff, and I was really surprised to see what you got in the box itself. So included in the box is the case itself, and the first thing I noticed when I took this thing out of the box was the tempered glass side panel. This thing is held on by 2 thumb screws at the end and just slides off like a normal side panel would. This is actually a really nice touch and a lot easier than the typical 4 thumb screws you see at each corner for a glass side panel, and honestly should be implemented in a lot more cases than just this one. Now, taking a look at the inside of the case, we find a really clean design. First thing I noticed was the rubber cable grommets, which is a really nice touch in this price category, and overall just some nice little spots for cable management, especially in the rear. There's a ton of cable tie downs, as well as a large motherboard tray cut out for installing CPU coolers, and just overall really nice design for managing cables. Now, you may have noticed that this thing actually comes included with a fan/RGB header. This thing supports up to 6 fan and 6 RGB inputs, with 3 of them already populated for the fans, but it leaves 3 for adding add-ons like extra fans and extra LED light strips or whatever. It's controlled via the little LED button at the top, or you can plug it into your motherboard via a 5-volt pin and control it via software, which is a really nice touch. Now, this case only comes included with one 3.5-inch drive slot, so you can't really fill a ton of hard drives in this case. But given how cheap SSDs and 2.5-inch drives are nowadays, you're really only going to put one hard drive typically in a build, and so this really isn't that big of a deal, but it is something to note. Although it is removable, which is another thing if you don't even want to include a hard drive, which is a nice touch. Front I/O is pretty standard with a pretty premium feeling button that's clicky and responsive, as well as a reset button. Comes included with 2 USB 3.0 inputs, 1 USB 2.0 input, a headphone and microphone jack, and an LED button for controlling the LEDs. Now, on the box, Montech claims that this case is focused on high airflow and eye-catching design. And while this case is subjectively a good-looking case, as far as once you remove that mesh panel up front to reveal the 200mm fans, this case really doesn't move a ton of air. And I have a feeling the Montech had to cut some corners here as far as cost-wise, and these fans are a bit on the cheaper side. They're a bit noisy. They're not loud by any means, but they do produce a audible humming noise. The fact that they're so big at 200mm does mean that it's a pretty low hum, but you will hear these things in a quiet room. But for the average person, I feel like the components that most people would put in this case, I feel like these fans will just get the job done, and they'll cool it sufficiently. You're not going to get the coolest temperatures in this case, but it's not going to be a hot box and overheat. Because for 70 to 80 bucks, which is around what the case goes for at the time of this review, you're really getting a ton of value for this case. This case includes a ton of stuff for that price, and if you're just looking for the all-in-one, pretty budget solution, this is pretty much it. And given the fact that this case is actually built really well, I was very surprised at the overall build quality of this case. And as well as the cable management goes, I can really recommend this case for people looking to build a pretty budget mid-level to entry-level gaming rig in this case, as I had a pretty good time building in this thing. I can definitely recommend it if you're looking for a first-time builder, as it's really easy to build in and offers a ton of stuff for cable routing and just general features overall. Anyway, thanks if you made it this far. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see some more, and thank you so much for watching. Have a good one. Bye.